Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to more Ikoria quick drafts. Today we're just going to hop back into this thing because we only got like one more day to draft Ikoria, so I wanted to grab a few of these real quick. So our opening pack has some really solid stuff. We have Titanoth Rex, which is an absolutely monstrous beast. A 9 mana, 11/11 trample. For 2 mana you can cycle this thing, put a trample counter onto something, so you can even reanimate it if you're in a green-black deck. There are some powerful reanimation options there. We have Mythos of Vadrock, which is an incredible rare, 4 mana to deal 5 damage however you choose among creatures and planeswalkers. This can often kill 2, maybe even 3 things off of this one card, and anytime you do that, you're having a absolutely great time. And yeah, I think these are the 2 most powerful cards in this pack. And I think I'm going to go with the Mythos here. Just a absolutely fantastic removal spell, although Titanoth Rex is a really powerful card and a fun way to go as well here. Now we have another Titanoth Rex. Could start off with the double Titanoth there, if we were lucky, and have a really good start to the green-black Reanimator deck. There's also Blitz of the Thunder Raptor here, 2 mana for an instant speed spell to deal damage to a creature planeswalker equal to the number of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. So in the late game, this can do a lot of damage to something for pretty cheap and be a powerful removal spell there. Ideally in red-white or red-blue, one of these decks that is going to be casting a bunch of instants and sorceries, even cycling a bunch of cards really quickly. So I think Blitz of the Thunder Raptor is a pretty solid follow-up to go with Mythos of Vadrock. There's also Startling Development, though, the 1 generic mana cycler, if we want to immediately just jump onto that train. But Blitz of the Thunder Raptor, we could also just be in a blue-red deck with a lot of non-creature spells. Don't necessarily have to be jumping onto the cycling train. Although a Drannith Healer there for that deck is going to be fantastic. It cycles for 1 generic mana and it also gains life whenever we're cycling. So it's both a good cycler and somewhat of a cycling payoff for the red-white deck there. Startling Development is going to be really nice with the Blitz of the Thunder Raptor and just a good cycler in general. Avian Oddities, solid. Nice creature cycler for a creature-heavy deck, but I don't think we're looking to be that way with Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. I actually kind of like Starting Development over Drannith Healer here for the potential blue-red sort of cycling deck with a ton of instant sorcery cycling cards. Although, yeah, no, I think I like jumping on the Starting Development here, maybe heading into the blue-red direction. Fire Prophecy is a wonderful pickup here to go with Mythos and Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. We can just start off with a bunch of instant and sorcery-based removal spells in red. Yeah, seems like a really solid way to go here. 3 damage to a creature. Put a card from your hand on bottom, draw another card. Scoop that right up. Another Blitz of the Thunder Raptor? Okay, well, we definitely have a strategy here. Although there is another 1 generic mana Startling Development cycler there that is going to work really well with the Blitz. But I'm just going to take another Blitz. What do we have now? Pyroceratops could be solid in this sort of deck. We have just a ton of non-creature spells already, so this can be our one really big threat potentially. Just becoming an absolutely massive trampler throughout the game. Then there's also Channeled Force, which is only good when you have a lot of cards in your hand, so it's definitely a really bad top deck. Hey Ryvoke, it's going pretty well. How's it going with you? But yeah, Channel Force, pretty bad top deck, but if you have it early enough in the game and you have multiple cards in hand, this can be a removal spell that also filters through what you've got. So it's alright. It does fuel your graveyard as well for Blitz of the Thunder Raptor if you just ditch your whole hand to draw a new one. I'm going to take the Channeled Force here. And another Starting Development seems pretty easy. 1 generic mana to cycle. Always a really easy card to put in your deck because you're just filtering through to your next draw. And this one does that while also fueling Blitz of the Thunder Raptor, which is great. Doing alright, you poked the Strix draft event, went 1 and 2, so you only lost like 1k gems. It's not the worst ever, but definitely a little bit of a bummer. I did one Ikoria draft before before starting the stream here. I was just recording for YouTube, and I went 0-3. It was really sad. I had Emergent Ultimatum and Eerie Ultimatum, so I was just a green-based ramp deck trying desperately to cast ultimatums with Fertilins and stuff, and I played against 3 just really aggressive decks that outraced me before I made it anywhere near an ultimatum. So I definitely know that feel. Had a bit of a rough draft right before this one. I think I'll just roll with the Pyroceratops here, getting a bunch of counters when we're casting instants and sorceries. Yeah, ultimatums are fun, but I did not get to cast not a one of them. Anticipate, another instant or sorcery here. I guess our only blue cards right now outside of Channeled Force are Cyclers, so we don't even have to be in blue here. So we should be considering that we're open to being any other color. So maybe just take the Cathartic Reunion and leave our second color open. Stay in just red. I think I'm fine with that. Anticipate and Cathartic Reunion, neither of which are particularly powerful draw spells. Both kind of just okay. And I'll take the Forbidden Friendship here because it gives us some creatures that's also an instant or sorcery, so another good combo with Blitz of the Thunderraptor or Pyroceratop type effects. Just an instant sorcery deck here. Really late Draneth Healer. If this were a player draft, I'd take that as a pretty big sign for the cycling deck, but you never really know what the bots are doing, so could mean nothing, but that's incredibly late for that card in my opinion. Guess I'll take Sleeper Dart. I mean, it triggers things that care about casting non-creature spells and it draws us a card, and I don't really like the other 3 cards here. Ooh, another Pyroceratops this late. Definitely good for us. But that less of a signal. Pyroceratops not a particularly sought-after card in this format. Oh no, we've been presented with a very difficult choice. We've gotten 2 blue-red uncommons that are both perfect for the non-creature spell deck. We've got Sprite Dragon getting in for a bunch of damage, getting +1/+1 counters when we're casting things, or we have Lore Dracus, which is just a great value play, bringing back in instant or sorcery when you mutate it. Lore Dracus or Sprite Dragon here? Do we want to start getting proactive and getting a really big Flying Haster slapping in quickly, or do we want to just get some good value and recast a removal spell? I think faster is often better in draft. I mean, it depends. Choose Sprite Dragon because it's pretty, that's the sole reason. Well, you think Dorat is pretty? Dorat's disgusting. The regular Sprite Dragon's very pretty, though. The card design? Oh, that it's like full art and stuff, not the actual creature. Fair enough. Fair enough, Tensei. That's 2 votes for Sprite Dragon, so I guess I'll go for it there. My considering on the Lore Dracus here is that we have... I guess we only have the 1, but there's like 1 instant sorcery that if we pick it up is just absolutely ridiculous, like being able to deal 5 as we choose. If we get to cast this thing twice and get 2 or 3 for ones, that's a super big game. But just grabbing like 1 Blitz of the Thunder Rage or Fire Prophecy or whatever is not that good. And Dorat does actually put pressure on our opponents. We can start going for a more aggressive deck here. That does tend to be good in draft. I would agree. So I like Memory Leak here. Again, for fueling these blitzes, just a 1-mana cycler. We don't even cast the thing, just cycle it to put more instants and sorceries in our graveyard. Momentum Rumbler's a solid creature here. 4-mana 3/3, it gets first strike the first time it attacks, and then it gets double strike from that point on. So that's another big threat to go with. I think I'm going to stick to going for as combo-y of a thing as possible and just really fueling our grave with a ton of instants and sorceries. Take the cycling ones. And now we actually get really paid off for that with either Prickly Marmoset or Draneth Stinger being exceptional in here. dealing a damage to our opponent whenever we cycle a card, or getting additional power whenever we cycle a card, potentially really blowing somebody out with a big swing from this monkey. I think both of these are quite good here. Dreamtail Heron also just a good card in general, but we've got a lot of cycling going for us right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 cycling cards already, and we are very likely to be taking any instants and sorceries with cycling highly still. I'm going to go with the Stinger first, so we get another card that cycles and is a cycling payoff. So that now we can very easily take a Prickly Marmoset here. Although, we're not married to blue. We only have 2 blue cards. The Startling Development's, of course, cycling for a generic mana, so we don't need blue mana to use this. Yeah, we only have 2 cards that need blue mana, so we could also just take Snare Tactician, which is a pretty bonkers cycling payoff. Tapping our opponent's stuff down, being able to get very aggressive with a card like that. Yeah, and then we can actually cast Drannith Healer instead of just cycling it. I'm going to roll with Snare Tactician here. And yeah, I mean, cycling looks wide open. Now we have Drannith Healer, gaining life when we cycle, Prickly Marmoset dealing more damage. And also just another great red removal spell, although we already have Mythos, Fire Prophecy, and 2 Blitz of the Thunder Rage, so I think I'm okay to pass up on a removal spell here to get more cyclers in here. I'm going to take the Drannith Healer first. Again, just going to keep taking the cards with cycling before the cards that pay off from having cycling cards. And we're really getting past all of the red removal spells in the world with a Fire Prophecy here, dealing 3 damage to something. Drawing us a card. Super solid. Another Blitz of the Thunder Raptor. We have that. We have the Checkpoint Officer to tap things down. We have the red-white Mana Fixer. Or we also have Raking Claws, giving everything double strike. Well, giving one thing double strike. That can be good with the monkeys, but we didn't end up picking any monkeys up yet. So, not super exciting here. I think I'm just going to take a Blitz. We're super instant sorcery heavy with a lot of cyclers, so we're just going to be the triple Blitz of the Thunder Raptor deck. Patasia Tiger's not terrible here. A good flyer that buffs one of our humans for a turn. We have at least 3 humans. We've got 4. Drannith Healers are humans. Drannith Stinger's a human, as is Snare Tactician. But there's also that Momentum Rumbler, the big old dinosaur that gets better every time it attacks. I'll go with the dinosaur here. Seems like a more fun, kind of snowball-y sort of card. Shredded Sails tends to be good in these cycling decks. It gives you a card that you can put in your main deck to kill flyers. And even if you're not playing against flyers, you can just cycle it and draw something else. There is that third Pyroceratops, which can get pretty big, but now that we're pivoting more into a pretty classic red-white cycling deck, we should have plenty of just other regular sort of creatures to beat people up with, like the Momentum Rumbler that we've picked up. So I don't know if we need more Pyroceratops. Although we can still get them, so I'll scoop that one up here over the Day Squad Marshal. I think we get more value from buffing off of non-creature spells than spitting out humans in this deck. I suppose I'll take the just cycling combat trick here, but I'm not super excited about that one because it costs 2 to cycle, and we get the pick 12 Prickly Marmoset, which is absolutely perfect. That is a big threat in this deck. Really beat people up with that. And the pick 14 Pyroceratops, so we do have a full playset if we want it. Alright. So we could have a third Fire Prophecy here. As much as I would like that, a 5 mana 4/5 flyer is just a pretty premium card in limited. Yeah, just a really solid creature here. I don't think we have anything that will benefit off of exiling it and then bringing it back to the battlefield. So it's just a 5 mana 4/5 flyer, but still super solid card. Yeah, we don't have anything that does something when it comes into play that we want to play. I'm going to cut this Sleeper Dart. But still, 5 mana 4/5 flyer, super solid. That's going to end a lot of games. So I'm going to take that here. Honestly, the next best cards for us are probably the Fire Prophecy and then the Memory Leak, because just another 1 mana cycler to work with all the cycling payoffs, as well as the cards that care about having sorceries in our graveyard. And here, I think I'll take the Rooting Moloch. Lets us exile a cycling card from our graveyard and then cast it from our graveyard. So that's a very solid card for just good value in the late game in the cycling decks. We like to get past the Imposing Vantasaur again. That'd be the best for us, but if not that, a Raking Claws would be okay. I don't think Evolving Wilds is going to come back because it can go into any deck to mana fix, but that's also a solid card. Ooh, Inspired Ultimatum. Could go for the full blue, red, white, but I don't think it's worth it here. I think we're going to want to run as consistent of a mana base as possible and just slam down with an aggressive red-white cycling deck here. So as fun as the ultimatums are, I did try to play a couple ultimatums in my last draft and panned out poorly for me because I just wasn't hitting the mana in time. So I don't think I'm going to be that bold and go for the really hard to cast super powerful card again. We're just going to stick to a reasonable, consistent deck here. Take another Fire Prophecy. I actually do have 12 creatures in here, so we're doing pretty well on the creature count. I thought might be pretty low because of the amount of cyclers and stuff we've been taking. To the point where I might have to take like a Vulpikeet here. But no, 12 is plenty in a cycling deck because you're cycling so often that you can help draw into those creatures when you need them. So I'm just going to take the Will of the All-Hunter. This is a super solid combat trick. +2/+2 till end of turn for 2 mana, or if you cast this on a blocker, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so it's just permanently buffed. And of course, as always, if you don't need any of that, you just cycle it away. Help with all of your cycling cards. Ooh, that is a wonderful card to get this late here. Savai Thundermane, 2 mana for a 3/2, and now, whenever we cycle cards, we also get to turn them into miniature removal spells, dealing 2 damage to a creature and gaining 2 life for 2 mana. So that is absolutely wonderful. It's also just above the curve in terms of power and toughness for the cost. 2 mana for a 3/2. Super happy to see that. Oh wow, and now we get another Snare Tactician, a Drannith Stinger, or a 4th Fire Prophecy. Definitely a wide open strategy here. I wish there was somewhere on the deck thing where it told you how many cycling cards you have in this format, because it does matter so much. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 cycling cards. Probably enough to take another Snare Tactician over the Drannith Stinger, but they're both so good. I don't think we're taking Fire Prophecy here because these cycling payoffs are so powerful. And we also have a ton of removal now. We have 3 Blitz, 3 Fire Prophecy, and the Mythos of Vadrock. I'll take the Snare Tactician here. Get things tapped down, get aggressive there. Now we'll take the big old cycler, the Lava Serpent. Another removal spell, a dual land. Or the cycling flying removal. Do have the 6 early removal spells still, so I don't think removal's incredibly important here. So I kind of want to just take another cycler, Shredding Sails here. And I'm not sure I'm playing any of this. Guess I might try out a Day Squad Marshal. Maybe a Raking Claws. Definitely not playing any of this, though. These last picks are pretty simple. I'm just going to scoop up whatever says cycling on it. Okay. We have a 52 card deck here. So we need to cut 12. Could cut a lot of lands out of here for sure. The 2-drops, oh my god. So we need to sort things out and put all our 1 generic mana cyclers in a pile. The cards that all we're going to do with is cycle. And then our 2 generic mana cyclers that most of the time we're just going to cycle. Not going to run Cathartic Reunion in here. I don't know about the 4 Paraceratops anymore. Yeah, I honestly think I might even completely get rid of them. Definitely going to cut at least like 2 of those Paraceratops. Because we want to keep our curve lower. We're looking really aggressive here. Or add 8 cards and run Yorion as a companion. That is something you can do. I don't think would work particularly well in this deck, because this is the kind of deck we're probably wanting to cut a bunch of lands in because of the amount of cyclers we have also. Plus with the like cycling synergies and payoffs and stuff, we want to try to get it as consistent as possible and just narrowed in on that theme. But that is an alternate way to build this. We just slam all this stuff back in. Throw in another land. Highly recommend against it, but it seemed funnier. It would be funnier for sure. I don't know if it's the worst thing in the world, like knowing that literally every game you can cast a 4/5 flyer on turn 5 is actually a pretty powerful threat. It's probably worth making your deck objectively a bit poopier. Just have to spend the 3 mana on turn 3 or 4 to put it in your hand. Alright, we're not playing any black here. We're not actually playing any blue. This would be 12 lands. I think we want more than 12 lands here, though. I like Raking Claws better than Coordinated Charge. I think this is like our weakest cycling card, so we might want to just get rid of that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get rid of the coordinated charges for lands and run a 14 lander here. And this is our red-white cycling deck this time around. Yeah, seems solid. We obviously don't have a Zenith Flare, which is a big game ender in these sort of decks, just dealing damage to our opponent equal to the number of cycling cards in our grave. But even without that, just casting some pretty powerful cycling payoffs. Prickly Marmoset maybe doing a bunch of damage. Savai Thundermane turning all this into just more removal spells. Savai Thundermane really probably the strongest card in this deck outside of maybe the Mythos or the Yorion. Got some solid stuff going for us. We'll see how this deck pans out. Alright, here we are in round 1. Stuck on the 2 mana here, which is a bit rough for Yorion, but we have plenty of cycling cards to discard to draw into those lands. We have the Draneth Healer turn 2, so we gain a bunch of life throughout this game as well. Should hopefully give us the time we need to make it to 5 mana. Our opponent starts with a Whisper Squad. This is very, very threatening in the right deck. If you have 4 or 5 of these and then you have cards like Coordinated Charge that give your whole field like +2, +1, this can lead into a really big attack very early in the game. Even though it is just a 1/1, it grabs all of its friends. But it looks like they will just be casting a Savai Sabertooth on turn 2. Just a 3/1 there. Get our healer down. I don't think I'll be trading for their 3/1 just because this is going to gain me a lot of life while I'm cycling. Plus, by keeping my 2/2 on the board, it keeps their 1/1s from attacking me. So I'll just take 3 from the Sabertooth for a while. The Stinger as well, we could start dealing a damage to them as we cycle as well, but I think we need to hit lands enough here that I'm just going to start cycling. Snare Tactician would be a really good play, but we do not have the land yet. Just need one more for that. Snare Tactician would really solidify our board state here. Get us well defended. Fire Prophecy is the draw. It's actually not bad. Because I can use this as a removal spell and draw a card hoping to hit a land here. I probably want to do that in the main phase. So if I hit a land right now, I can play it. And then if I draw another land next turn, I have enough mana to play Snare Tactician and cycle a card. I think we just get rid of the 3/1 right now, hoping to draw a land here. Nope. Did hit a Mythos though, so if we get the mana for that, we can wipe basically their whole board since it's a bunch of 1 toughness things. That could be really good. Uh-oh. Not anymore. Now all of their creatures are +1/+1. Very devastating with all the 1/1 Whisper Squads that have picked up all their friends as well. So we're at 7 life. We do have the 3rd mana. If we hit the 4th for Mythos of Vadrok next turn, we get to kill 2 of their creatures. How do we survive through this turn? I guess if we block with Draneth Healer, we're only taking 6 damage right now. So we already survive. Do we play another blocker here? Maybe a Snare Tactician as a 2/3 so that I can block and kill 2 things, take 4 damage, go down to 3. Could see that. Actually, they can tap 2 humans to tap one of my things, but that doesn't get in for any more damage because they have to tap the creatures that would have been attacking us. I also kind of like just playing Draneth Stinger and cycling a 1 mana card here. Because they haven't had to cast a single removal spell all game. So I have a feeling one of our creatures is going to get shot down here on the attack, on the offensive. Or maybe not. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put 1 on each 2/2 there. Go ahead and cycle this so I can gain my life. Fire Prophecy. Again, not a bad draw. We're down to 4 life now. Day Squad Marshal. That's pretty devastating with the Sanctuary lockdown out. A 4/4 and a 2/2. Don't have the mana for the Mythos here. I need 2 blockers. I need 3 blockers to survive. If I Fire Prophecy, is there anything I could draw that can get me out of this? I don't think so. I think I Fire Prophecy that and I take like 8 damage. Guess we can do it anyway and see what happens. Just get rid of the Orion at this point. We're never going to get that mana. Nope, stuck off that as well. Well, pretty brutal game there. We dug 16 cards deep. So I don't think that cutting down to 14 lands there was super greedy, because we did dig really deep off of those cyclers. I think we just didn't draw a ton of lands that game. Just statistically gonna happen sometimes. Alright, I'll keep this one. Get these Draneth healers out. Start beating up our opponent with them. We have a Fire Prophecy to clear out one of their blockers. Definitely like getting on the aggressive with this deck. As we saw last game, getting on the defensive can be pretty rough for us. Humble Naturalist is going to start things for our opponent. I think I can Fire Prophecy that immediately to stop them from casting something big here. Stop them from using that mana. But I could also just widen my board, get more damage going. I think I'll just kill that immediately. And I'm going to get rid of this Raking Claws. Draw our 4th land here. Did 6 Ikoria drafts in the last 2 days. Seems the only success you have is with Mutate decks. Before you had earned 5-7 wins. Nice. Mutate decks are definitely super fun, and there's not a ton of great targeted removal that can kill like really big things, like the kind of stacks that you can create when you're mutating. So I think they are really solid. But I've definitely had some success with cycling decks as well. They're kind of the old school like menace of the format, if you have enough of the payoffs for them. Actually, I've been getting crushed by the black-white human decks. Have been the bane of my existence the most in this format, I think. Only 1 flare each time. No more than 1-2 wins. That's rough. Could throw Fire Prophecy and Blitz at the Great Horn just to get out of the way and hit for 6 here. I do draw a card off of Prophecy. I don't really want to lose all these creatures. The fact that I have to throw 2 removal spells at the Great Horn isn't great, but I think I have to keep my aggressive position. Ooh, Snare Tactician's awesome. Yeah, I don't have a Zenith Flare in here either. Haven't been seeing a lot of them. I think the bots draft the Zenith Flares really highly, but they don't tend to draft like the 1 generic mana cyclers super highly, so you can get a lot of the like commons for the deck. Like, it's really weird. It genuinely feels like sometimes the bots just hate draft Zenith Flare. Because, like, in this draft, there were a lot of cards getting passed to me that I thought were, like, a big sign that red-white cycling's open. Like, I got Prickly Marmosets, like, pick 13, but we also didn't see a single Zenith Flare all draft. And I don't think you ever see, like, Prickly Marmoset go pick 13 in a human draft where someone's actually drafting red-white cycling. Well, gonna need to draw into a cycler to break in for the last bit of damage here, but it could definitely happen. All we gotta do is tap down Pyroceratops, and our creatures are big enough to attack into the Essence Symbiote. Didn't have snares, but she had 3 or 4. Oh, prickly marmosets each time? Yeah. Snare tacticians, yeah, snare tacticians as well. I think those are getting drafted more highly. But I got a couple snares in here. It's definitely weird. Weird to see how the bots draft and try to run around that here. Should I wait till I draw another cycler? If I cycle here, I tap down Pyroceratops. Get to attack all. They can put a double block on Snare Tactician. That's not great for me. Felt you ran out of gas each game with cycle. If you have enough just like one generic mana cyclers and stuff, the best way to try to stop from running out of gas is to cut down on your lands a ton. But if you're already doing that, it definitely does just happen. Like this deck I'm running 14 lands, I think. But unfortunately last game that made it so I was stuck on 3 mana. But as you can see this game I am definitely running out of gas a bit here. I think I have to hold off and wait till I know I have at least like 2 cyclers. I feel like just tapping down Pyroceratops and attacking it with everybody isn't going to pan out very well for me. I get in for 2 damage, but I lose both my healers. So they go down to 5, and then I just have a Snare Tactician out. If I draw like 1 more cycler here, that'd be pretty good. Problem is, I am giving them more time to draw into another big blocker. I have not, I don't think I've won against this card once so far. Whenever one of your tramplers hits somebody, you make a dinosaur token equal to the damage you dealt. I mean, we can keep things under control here. Just cycle a Startling Development to tap that down before they go to combat. But that is very painful. It doesn't hit us like immediately. They're gonna mutate onto that as well? They're looking at it. They might be mutating onto it as well. They're looking at their symbiotes too. Lord Dracus. They get a Fire Prophecy from their grave back. So I want a Fire Prophecy Essence Symbiote here so that they don't get their own Fire Prophecy back. But I also want to maybe be able to use Fire Prophecy to draw a card, so I'm going to cycle Startling Development first in case I hit a basic land or something that I'm okay getting rid of to the Fire Prophecy. Since I'm going to cycle that anyway and tap down the Crasher. It's Will of the All Hunter. Well, it's actually a really good spell on blocks. But if I keep hitting cycling cards, I can also just maybe lethal them here. And if I hit a basic off this one, just Fire Prophecy down the symbiote still. Oh my god, this is wonderful. We don't lethal them, but we can do 6 here. Alright, there's the land. That's all I was wanting. I just wanted the 1 land so I can actually draw a card off Fire Prophecy. All the extra cycling was just random nonsense, basically. Oh, do they have a counterspell for this? They do. Well, that's brutal. The pump spell to save the symbiote. So symbiote stays on the board, Lord Dracus happens, they get Fire Prophecy back and kill the Snare Tactician. Oh my god. What a beautiful draw off of the Fire Prophecy. Thanks to having that land to ditch to it, we draw into Blitz of the Thunder Raptor to just kill it in response if Fire Prophecy isn't going to be enough damage. Because we need Snare Tactician or we immediately die to this Courtwoods Crasher. So now we get to keep it. Because now they don't get their own Fire Prophecy. That was an insane turn. That was a lot of cycling. Shredded Sails is the draw. Can tap down Lord Drakis so I can attack with everybody and either deal 6 or kill the Gremlin. But I also need to have a cycling card in hand to not get hit by Quartzwood Crasher and not give them like a 9/9. But if I play it defensively here, like the next time I'm going to be able to get damage in is going to be like a century from now. Because if I play it defensively, all their creatures on tap, I tap down just the Quartzwood Crasher. And they still have all that other stuff to block with. I don't think I have a super great chance here, but I think my only chance is if I push the fact that I've tapped so many creatures here to get in some actual damage. So even if they do hit me with Quartzwood Crasher, if they crack back with too many things, we might be able to draw into a ton of cyclers again. Oh, Lava Serpent's a super great draw, so we get in for 6 damage here. Because they chump block Lava Serpent. But now I also have a 5/5, so if they attack with the 6/6... I guess if they attack with the 6/6, they also make a 6/6. Oh, they had more removal. Well... it's not awesome for us, but I also still don't... I don't feel bad about the aggressive cycling play there. Because if they had that ram through anyway, if I just went for the defensive cycling play, they ram through Snare Tactician in the end step and still hit us with Quartzwood Crasher because we can't tap it down if they kill the Snare Tactician. So, it was still the best we could do, but I don't know if it's going to get there. Ooh, especially not with the Lifelinker here. Now they mutate Lifelink onto the Lord Drakis, which also brings back an instant or sorcery from their grave. Surprised they didn't pick up the Ram Through instead of the Fire Prophecy, so they could ram through with Cub Warden and gain like 1,000,000 life. But I guess being at 9 here with the massive board that they have is already going to be plenty. There's the Thundermane too little too late here. Just gonna scoop them up. They have lethal on us with all that trample damage alone. It's an 0-2 for this red-white cycling deck. May even just immediately be the second 0-3 of the day. Could just be a bad day of drafts here. Been looking at the Magic Arena event calendar lately, trying to find the next to draft format that they're putting up, because I'm kind of like Strixhavened out, and I don't think they're putting another one up for a long time, because after the Ikoria drafts are gone, it's back to just Strixhaven quick drafts and Strixhaven premier drafts. They're going to bring Jumpstart back, but that's not like a draft format. Sand is really good. I'm only 1 mana away from Mythos of Vadrock. I really want to play Amonkhet Remastered or Kaladesh Remastered again, because both of those sets were only on Arena for like 2 weeks, and then they've just been gone forever. Well, that's good. You've only done like 2 Strix drafts. You're going to have plenty of time for them then, Ryvoke. They're bringing the quick drafts back after Ikoria leaves. So that's May 28th, so in a couple days. That's why I'm playing Ikoria here. It's about to leave. So yeah, you'll be definitely good to play some more Strixhaven quick drafts if you want, Ryvoke. Yeah, I do think Strixhaven's a pretty good format. But I draft really hardcore whenever a set like first comes out. Because the first month that the set's out, it's like the only thing they let you draft. And then so it always burns me out, no matter how good the set is. Playing against Essence Scatter the deck here. Luckily, Rooting Moloch is gonna get us back one of those cards that's been countered here. You know what? Rarely do you get to do this, so I'm just gonna destroy an artifact with my Shredded Sails. Kind of already accepted that this is probably the 0-3 here, so I'm just gonna do the fun things while I can. I don't really want a Mythos to kill just a single thing, so I'm just gonna drop my Tactician. Oh my god. This is kind of what we were trying to draft at the start here. Before we switched into red-white, because white was so open. It was just like red-blue removal. Alright, well, we got a really good Mythos set up here, because they're tapped out to kill both of these. Could help get us back into this. 2 for 1 the opponent. Hopefully that helps. Just need 1 more mana for the Rooting Moloch. That'll be pretty big. Especially if the board is still empty at that time. Might be another removal spell here. I wouldn't be surprised. This is definitely blue-red instants and sorceries. Create a token that's a copy of a permanent. They're going to copy their land. They're going for an ultimatum here then. The blue-red-white ultimatum, I'd guess. What's that, like gain 5 life, draw, deal 5 damage, draw a ton of cards. Can't really interact with spells in this deck, so there's no way we're going to counter it. So I think we just probably don't run out the Moloch here then. Because then they deal 5 to our 4-4 instead of our 2-2. If we don't draw land, it doesn't matter. Couldn't have played the Moloch either way. Should use the white mana in case I draw another untapped land, so I could double blitz. Shredded Sails is the draw. I'll just hold up a Blitz of the Thunder Raptor for now. But I think we're about to get Inspired Ultimatumed. Maybe not yet. There's still 1 mana away, only 6 lands here. Go ahead and Shredded Sails the flyer, blitz the ground creature. Momentum Rumbler. If we play that, we don't attack this turn, and it also gives them a big target for their ultimatum. Yeah, let's just shoot the blocker and keep hitting. Another Glimmer Bell. So they're 1 card in hand is ultimatum, so they still have to top deck another mana. Of course, that's just an assumption based on the fact that they use the thing that could copy anything just to copy a land. But I think it's a fair assumption. Till the end of your next turn, you can play the cycled card. So what do we have? We just have a bunch of 2/2s, right? Yeah, it's not actually that insane right now. At this point, I will run out the Momentum Rumbler. Like, maybe it draws the ultimatum if they hit a land. Well, it definitely draws the ultimatum if they hit a land. But I just want to put the pressure on for as long as it takes for them to hit that. Now we definitely drop Rooting Moloch because the ultimatum's going to kill the Rumbler because it has double strike. They gain like 5 life off of it. They'll be at 12, but they take 6 currently. Should be able to push through the ultimatum, which is definitely happening this next turn because they've got their 7 mana now. What would I most like to play? Raking Claws actually does hit for 8, 9, 10. We hit for 10 damage if I Raking Claws. I could also just play another threat onto the board in case they just draw into a ton of removal, which I think is likely based on what they've been playing so far. So you probably want to play around them drawing at just a mountain of removal and just pick up another creature rather than get the spell that just does 4 more damage one time. Yep, there's the ultimatum. Gain 5, draw... oh, it's draw 5? Oh, boy. Double Fire Prophecy's pretty good here if they've just drawn into blockers, but if they've drawn into removal, they can definitely stabilize. Quartzwood Crasher? It's my BFF, Quartzwood Crasher. Back at it again. We hit for 4 here. They block the Moloch, take 4. I think we go for the double prophecy. Because that would be dead on board. Memory Leak to cycle, that does a damage to them, that's nice. I'll actually cycle it first here in case I draw a land to get rid of with Fire Prophecy. Lava Serpent's actually pretty sweet. We're only 1 mana away from dumping that out. Ram through to kill the Moloch. But nothing to save that at least. So we put him down to 2 now. And then we have a 5/5 haste next turn. Trumpeting Gnar. Do they have the mutators to put on it? If they do, that's super bad. Got 1 mutator, so they have a 3/4 and a 3/3. 3 mana up here. Parcel Beast, another mutator, get another 3/3. So now we just try to cycle 2 cards. Now even if we hit a land, I think I'm cycling Lava Serpent instead of casting it. Yeah, so we hit the land there for the Lava Serpent, but we don't want to cast it here, because if we cast it and attack all, they block all 3, they still have 2 creatures on board. We have a single Lava Serpent against a 3/4 and a 3/3. And if we attack with just Lava Serpent, they just block with a 3/4 and a 3/3, and they only lose 1 of the 2. So we would rather cycle it and hope to just hit another cycler here. Because if we hit 2, we win. Yorion? We can't play Yorion right now, but Yorion's pretty big. That's 4 damage in the sky. There's a cycler. I'm going to go for the cycler rather than the Yorion because cycling's uncounterable. Alright. Game got really sketchy there at the end after the Inspired Ultimatum. But we did close it out thanks to those cycling effects that can damage our opponent even without having to cast stuff. I'd be willing to bet they had some kind of counterspell by the end there, because they were just running so many earlier. Thanks, Siloed. That was a scary one for sure. It puts us to 1-2, definitely not another 0-3 run at the least. We got somewhere with this cycling deck. Oh. Running up against a ton of mythics today too. pretty scary. Well, we need red mana pretty badly, but we cycle Development turn 1, cycle Claws turn 2, so we draw 3 cards by turn 2. I'm gonna keep this. How many red sources do we have again? We have a lot, right? 7. Well, we're digging. The dig begins. And the dig continues. When your deck is like 25% cycling cards, got plenty of stuff you can just dig around with. That is our plan. There's the mountain. Let's get going. We get the turn 3 Prickly Marmoset, never didn't have it. Cycling for 1 generic mana is pretty busted. Can cycle 2 cards here, hit for quite a bit. If they block, we just cycle 1 card. I could even just cycle 1 and then just Fire Prophecy the boar. I think I'm fine with that. With this hand, we have so much fantastic removal that I kind of just want to keep the board under control. I'm going to keep all these, though. Using Fire Prophecy before we use a Blitz, because Blitz is likely to do like 6+ damage later in this game. Does 4 damage already. Plus it exiles, so we can kill Durable Coil Bug with it, and don't worry about them reanimating it. 2 mana away from Lava Serpent, so I don't know if we want to cycle that. We will if we have to. I think I do still want to cycle the Will of the All-Hunter here, because we do want that second red for the Mythos, ideally. Drannith Healer? I can cast a Drannith Healer, or I can just exile one of their creatures with Blitz. I'm not going to cycle another card. I don't think Drannith Healer really helps us get any more aggressive when they have multiple 2/2s and a 1/3 out. Like, it's not going to be attacking in. So, probably rather just kill something here. Don't want to wait to do it at instant speed. I think I will. They have 5 mana even without Fertilid. So they could play like a 4/4 Menace pretty easily. The Cavern monster thing. Or anything of comparable size here. So I'll just hold up the removal spell, maybe use it in their end step. But looks like they're just going to be setting up more mana, so killing the Fertilid might have been best. 2/4 Vigilance. It's a chunky boy. I'll clear that out of the way, because it annoys me. Got more removal backup. Do have the Mythos mana now, which is absolutely beautiful. We'll just slam that down right now to get in. Oh, will we? If we don't slam that down, we can still attack here pretty safely. We've got a Lava Serpent potentially coming up next turn. See what happens with the attack here. No block. I'm actually going to cycle the Drannith Healer. Hoping to cast Lava Serpent next turn. There's the land to do so. So we're hitting for 4 here, putting them to 8. I think now I do want to try to clear the way for the Serpent, potentially. Kill those two. lead the Stampede, just drawing more cards here. Draw a Night Squad Commando, so if they attack and play a land, they get more things out, but they don't have the mana to do so, they just have the Moss Coat Goriak, so Lava Serpent it is. They basically have to chump block that here. But they could block Marmoset and take 5. Oh, they're not going to block at all. They're going to go to 1. Alright. Fire Prophecy plus Blitz of the Thunder Raptors. Hopefully enough to break through here. They are going to get 2 more blockers at least with the Night Squad Commando, though, since they are attacking in this turn. Yeah, so we can only kill 2 of the blockers. They do have Deadweight to make Lava Serpent a 3/3. Can hold up Blitz and Fire Prophecy to use in response to stuff. In response to whatever blocks they try to make, in case they try to double block Lava Serpent or Prickly Marmoset and kill it, we could try to blow them out there. Definitely stay on the aggressive, try to get that one last damage in. I don't think there's any blocks they can make, even if they look at our hand, that work out for them. So here we aren't killing anything. I think I just allow that and probably just use these during their turn now, in case they play like a bigger blocker. We're at 18, we can take as much as they want to send our way. Oops, sorry opponent. Just sending it over to my turn. Well, let's see if we can kill that Night Squad Commando here, or if they have a response. Nope, we kill it. Draw another card. Shredded Sails, nice. If I draw one more way to kill a creature, they are potentially dead on board. If I shoot the Moss Coat right now. Don't really want to, though. Well, if I shoot it now, it also forces them to lose a creature every turn. It is just a little scary to not have removal anymore. But, I mean, if they didn't play a creature here, they probably just don't have a good big blocker to play. And this doesn't actually do anything on this board, so I'm going to cycle it right now while I have all the mana to do so, in case I hit like a Yorion or something. I could actually cast all my mana on that next turn, or spend all my mana on that. We hit Raking Claws. Well, if anything gets through, it's already lethal. So I think we cycle trying to hit removal, because we don't need the extra power on Marmoset. 2 is already lethal damage. Drannith Healer's the draw. Every single point of damage is lethal, so I'm going to play that as another attacker here. Guess I should have cycled Raking Claws, maybe hit a 2-mana removal spell there. Because I could have cycled Raking Claws and still had the 2 mana to play Drannith Healer. Lurking Deadeye. 4/2, so that just trades with Lava Serpent. Sure. I guess in the weirdest corner case ever, it was better to not cycle Raking Claws. I misplayed into the correct play. Got to save my Lava Serpent there, which actually is really important because now they need 2 more blockers here somehow. Or 2 removal spells. Or 1 removal spell, 1 blocker. That might be the play here. Charge the Forever Beast kills one of my creatures. Cycle the Greater Sandworm, so that's going to be it then. We get in for 2 damage, close this one out, and there's the concession. Ooh. So we're now 2-3. I was about to say 1-3. Actually, 2-2. I always count my losses before they've happened by accident. 2-2, not 2-3. Well, we're rallying now. I think we started off 0-2. It's 2 wins in a row there. See how long we can keep this up. Maybe even get out of the loss hole, get into another 7-win run. Oh my god, somebody just sent me, they revealed Azmarana Mardica Diced Kuldakar now. They finally made Azmarana Mardica Diced Kuldakar a legendary creature, an actual card. That's hilarious. Okay. This is super keepable. Modern Horizons 2 is definitely shaping up to be just another like time spiral number 3, where it's just a bunch of just fantastic old references to enfranchised players. Guess should have picked more removal with the cycle decks. Removal is when you can get the prickly marmosets a lot with the way the bots draft, removal is pretty important for the aggressive cycling decks, yeah. Because then you can get in for like the massive prickly marmoset swings. Oh no, we're playing against the blue-red cycling. Blue-red cycling's so fun when you have Ominous Seas. Because if you draw 8 cards, you start spitting out 8/8s. If they get a single one of these 8/8s, we don't really have a way to get through an 8/8 in this deck. Oh, they also got the Lutri? Oh dear. Lutri's like the best companion, because it's by far the easiest one to draft around. You just need 1 copy of everything. Already in limited, a lot of the time you're just going to have only 1 or 2 copies of everything. But Lutri's super solid. Lower Dracus is the play. Get that out of the way, keep the damage coming in. I'm actually going to get rid of a land here, even though we have Yorion coming up, because we have the cards to cycle, and we really need to hit the second white. If that mountain was a plains, I wouldn't have gotten rid of it to the Fire Prophecy, but I'm digging for that white source there for Yorion. Probably just going to cycle double Raking Claws here if they don't play a creature, so that I can hit the 5th land for Yorion. Frenzied Raptor. Well, they played a creature. So I'm going to shoot that and get rid of a Raking Claws, so I basically cycle a Raking Claws for free. Draw into a Startling Development. Rather cycle the 2-mana card because Startling Development's easier to cycle. I guess this could push in for 4 extra damage, throwing it on a Yorion. Whereas Startling Development is uncastable in my deck. Yeah, we'll cycle the Startling Development, I guess. Shredded Sails is the draw, and Savai Thundermane. Well, we're not casting Yorion, but we're casting something pretty comparably powerful in this deck because of the amount of cycling cards that we have. There are 3 counters on Ominous Seas, so they haven't drawn any extra cards for it yet, so it's not that threatening. But this card could go off out of nowhere. If they cast an Of One Mind, they draw 2 cards that's at 5 counters, and then they could just like cycle a couple cards and it's going off. Don't have a way to save the Thundermane from a Rock Slide. Sadly, it is just gone. They could have Flyers in here, so I think I'm going to cycle Raking Claws first. Because they're in blue. So I want to be able to kill like a 3/4 flyer. Because they have those at common. Might as well untap my 2/2. So we can play Snare Tactician and tap down the Glimmerbell. Glimmerbell's already just a chump blocker for Yorion. We could also just shoot it instead of tapping it down. Let's try shooting it and see what happens. I should have played my land first. Oh my god, no! I realized as soon as I did that, I was like, I should have played my land first. There's that one counter spell that counters unless you pay 4. And then there it was, the exact card. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world here. They can't block Ikoria, so we still hit for 4. Because if they block Ikoria, they lose the Glimmer Bell. I guess this way I get to sandbag the land in case I draw another Fire Prophecy. I do have 3 in this deck. But it definitely would have been better to play it just in case they had the Convolute, and they did end up having the Convolute. Spell Eater Wolverine on the ground is going to stop these ground troops pretty well, but drawing any Cycler with Snare Tactician really gets us in there. Now we can attack with everybody, hit for 6 here. Yeah, they're just scooping them up. They're over it. Tired of red-white cycling. And that leads us into 3 wins and 2 losses, really turning things around here into at least an average run this time around. Not bad at all. Way better than it was looking at the start of things. Okay. This hand is sweet. Got the Healer, the Stinger, and the Tactician. A cycling card to play afterwards. This hand is wonderful. I think we're going to start with the Stinger here and try to be on the aggressive since we're on the play. Another cycling deck it looks like, starting off with Frostveil Ambush getting cycled immediately. Turn 2 Stinger, followed up by turn 3 Snare Tactician. Is our route to victory here. The ball is rolling. Spell Eater Wolverine. It's only a 3/2 right now, so it has not quite made it to the big enough status. Do we just attack in and maybe Raking Claws here? I do like going for the 1-mana Cycler to tap that down and then playing Prickly Marmoset. Because then I can't possibly lose a creature. And I've got a really good field to attack with next turn because I also get to expand my board. They're down to 13 now. Even if they give it Double Strike and attack in, we'll just absolutely take it. Really go for it here. If they have a 1-mana Cycler, Reptilian Reflection gets triggered. Does have haste. They could attack in here if they want, hit for 11, but they might die if they do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, they die. We just have lethal with Marmoset with 2 Cyclers. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Yeah, this is just well over lethal. Well, not a ton to say on that one. That was just the cycling mirror match. We both had a pretty great aggressive start, but I was on the play and they were on the draw, so I got to dump my creatures on the board first. A little bit of an aggressive attack from them as well, letting me get the lethal a little earlier than I would have otherwise. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. With Snare Tactician on the board, they definitely made the right play. Because I totally forgot about Snare Tactician's effect because it didn't matter there since they already attacked with everything. But if they didn't attack with everything, I just do the exact same play and tap down every blocker they have. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, cycling just making some ridiculous plays these last couple games. Save all our cyclers because we have the good payoffs in hand. Checkpoint Officer will start things for our opponent. Ooh, Savai Thundermane. I'm going to play that before anything else because if I cycle a 1-mana card here, I get to kill Checkpoint Officer with it, which is incredible. Oh my god, yes. Yes. I get to kill a Helica Glider instead. And we're just going to keep going off. If they can't kill this Thunder Mane, that should take over the game here. Because they've got two toughness creatures out. So if they don't kill Thunder Mane next turn, then we kill Checkpoint Officer also. This card doing some just degenerate things. So they're in the think tank here. Alright, they are going to pacify the Thunder Mane, but I can still use its ability, which is fantastic. Can still definitely try to use that to turn every cycling card in the deck into a removal spell, which is very good. Do I want to do that right now or just drop a Tactician so I can start attacking more? The fact that Checkpoint Officer only hits me for like 1 damage a turn, and they've already spent a Pacifism on Thunder Mane, means I can definitely just kill it later. The fact that they used Pacifism on Thunder Mane means they're definitely not going to also use more removal on Thunder Mane anytime soon, so we can use that ability later on. And if they do use another removal spell on it, that's also fine for us because they had to use 2 cards to kill it. So let's just stay aggressive here, get our field wider. I'm going to play Snare Tactician because I don't actually want to cycle a card unless I have the mana up to use Thunder Mane's effect because of how powerful it is. So I'll play our big 3 mana card over the 2 mana one because the only reason to play the 2 mana one would be to hold up cycling cards, which I don't want to cycle anyway. Alright, not really going to be able to kill that. That is 3 toughness, so we'd have to be able to shoot with Thunder Mane twice, which would require a ton of mana. So I think I'm going to kill Checkpoint Officer here and tap down the 2/3 so I get an attack in with Snare Tactician. And I think I'll be cycling a Shredded Sails. Against green-white, I don't expect a ton of flyers, and if we do run up against one, we can just play the other Shredded Sails. So I can play Dranith Stinger first to get an additional damage out of this. Actually, no, I can't, because this costs 2 to cycle, not 1. Thank you for the follow, Dance Train. I enjoy that username a lot as well. Yeah, I can only play a Dranith Stinger here if I don't cycle and kill something. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to just cycle and kill something. Tap the Recluse. Kill the Officer. There's another land for later. Means we can cast Lava Serpent next turn, which could be very nice. Mosscoat Goriak. Pretty nice. They're going to go ahead and attack with the Recluse. It's fine by me. Yorion is the draw. Yorion actually really good when one of your cards are pacified. We can pick Thunder Mane up and recast it. Although, just slamming in with a 5/5 haste might be better right now. I think it is. I think I'm going to Lava Serpent here, but we might Yorion next turn. They're down to 10, so there's several ways we could find lethal next turn if they can't kill our Lava Serpents. Because we can cast Dranith Stinger and then cycle 2 cards if we don't spend the mana for Thunder Mane's ability. Alright, they do remove the Lava Serpent, but if they didn't, Dranith Stinger into cycling 2 cards. That's 2 damage to their face, putting them down to 8 and taps down both their blockers. That'd be not quite lethal, but it'd be really close. Alright, so now I think we just go for the Yorion play, and we can cast Yorion and Dranith Stinger now that we have 7 mana. So that's pretty solid. And with the 2 cyclers in hand, as I said before, a lot of ways to find lethal here if they don't have the interaction. They do have a pacifism, but I think that's not enough. We tap down 2 creatures. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 power on the board. I guess that doesn't quite do lethal, but it gets really close. We have 8 mana. We have enough. Actually, no, we have lethal because we have enough to use Thundermane's ability twice and kill one of these. I accidentally Snare Tactician the one I was about to kill anyway. Make sure to Snare Tactician this one. Oh wait, what am I talking about? This doesn't actually do any more damage. So we're still 1 off lethal, but it kills one of their creatures. So I don't know why I thought killing their creature would somehow do 1 more damage to them when I was already tapping down the whole field. Doesn't matter. Still definitely the best play to shred one of the blockers permanently while we're doing all that. Get in for all that damage. But a bit of a brain fart there. Well, the 0-2 start on this red-white cycling deck has pivoted it into a 5-2 run. Really nice turn of events for this deck. Just a lot of the classic cycling stuff going on here. With the right aggressive start, this thing could be just atrocious. Thanks, Siloed. Again, I have so much cycling in this deck that I can keep these 1 mana or 1 color hands because I will be digging a lot. I'm digging 3 cards in. I'm also on the draw. But it's risky. I'm going to keep it though. If I immediately draw a mountain, then it looks identical to all the hands that I've just super won with. Drana Stinger into Snare Tactician. And we did immediately draw the mountain, so super paid off there. Very lucky draw to get that immediately. I was expecting to have to dig a little bit for it. Cycle some of our cards before we'd ideally be cycling them. There's the second red source for the Mythos as well. Just absolutely had it all in terms of mana this game. Okay. So Spell Eater Wolverine, do I offer the trade with our Stinger? I think I do, because that thing's going to get double strike pretty soon. Alright, and they do not want to take the trade. So we'll drop a Snare Tactician down. I guess we don't know how quickly this will get double strike, but the vast majority of games, when your opponent's playing this card, you could expect them to next turn just cycle a couple cards and Fire Prophecy, and bam, it's double strike. Like, it activates itself pretty quickly. Alright, double removal. Definitely explains the no trade. I don't really want to Mythos for just the 1 creature here, so I think I just take another 3 damage. They only have 1 instant engraved, so they're not going to get double strike here. Yeah, I'll just cycle a little bit here. See what our next plan is. Well, Yorion next turn. So we Yorion next turn, we Lava Serpent later. Blitz is a great draw. If they play another creature here, we'll Mythos. If they don't, probably just dump down Yorion. Unfortunately, that is too big to kill both of those with Mythos. But I can kill one with Mythos and the other with Blitz pretty easily. Just need 1 more mana to kill both in 1 turn. They have 1 card in hand here. I think I just run out the Yorion. They only have 1 instant engraved, so that doesn't have double strike. We play... Oh wow, I don't know what I just did here. I accidentally closed Arena? Alright, I've reopened it. My bad. We play Yorion. On board, the only way they kill Yorion is if we block and they throw Poacher at it, which I'd actually be fine with. Because then they're down to like 2 cards in hand and we have still all 4 of these. So if they're that desperate to kill Yorion, we'll let it happen. And of course, if they just have a removal spell for Yorion, that's fine too, then they have no cards left in hand. Alright, so they just have no attacks. No responses there. So now we can dump down Snare Tactician as well as have the 2 mana for Blitz. If we want to kill Spell Eater Wolverine, we could get a Marmoset on this board to start attacking with. If I play Snare Tactician, we're also kind of safe to just attack with Yorion. Because we could always cycle Lava Serpent if something really bad happens. Yeah, I'll play the Snare Tactician. I'm holding up Blitz, so if Wolverine starts coming at me, I can kill the Wolverine. And I can just block the Poacher with a 2-3. Still don't want to cycle Lava Serpent, but we can if we really, really need to tap something. So I'm going to block like this and throw Blitz at Wolverine. Probably should just not block and throw Blitz at Wolverine, but the problem with blocking the 2-4 and throwing Blitz at Wolverine is then they can sacrifice the Wolverine to do 2 to Snare Tactician, and Bushmeat Poacher does the final 2 and it dies there. We're at 12. Do we drop Lava Serpent, go for the 11 damage here? 12, we take 2 on the crackback. I feel like something could kill us here on the crackback, but I don't know what. Like 12 life. Have to be a lot. Alright, they're going to make the trade with the Snare Tactician and take 9. Lurking Deadeye would get close to killing us on the crackback. That's a 4-2, so they attack for 6. We go down to 6 life. They sack 2 creatures. Deal 4 more. We go down to 2. Yeah, that was kind of scary. Will of the All Hunter for +2/+2. Kill one of the blockers here. They have to chump block the other. Yeah, I think we kill one of these here so we can just get rid of their whole field. So Spell Eater Wolverine dies. They can't afford to sacrifice it to Bushmeat. I guess they can if they sacrifice Bushmeat Poacher. Wait, no they can't. Yeah, that's just 9 on board. I think. Alright, they're just sending a message. But yeah, that's just lethal. Was not expecting that for my opponent at the end there. So I was getting a little concerned in the back of my mind. I'm like, what could they have to actually turn this into surviving? There's just nothing. They're just being rude. They want to sack us stuff. Well, that's 6-2 now. 850 gems and a pack out of this, and we're at the final boss. Win or loss here. It's the last game for this red-white cycling deck. Oh boy, here we go. Fingers crossed. Let's do this thing. We got a Drannith Healer turn 2. We can cycle a starting development, which makes Blitz of the Thunder Raptor at least 1 damage. A Raking Claws to cycle as well. Once we have 4 mana, we have a Mythos. I think this is a key because we have a couple plans in the early game and a couple cyclers to get us to more lands or whatever we'll be casting next. And we got one of each color, so our color distribution's pretty good here. Okay, we are playing against green. That is the only thing I know for sure. I think I am going to cycle the starting development rather than wait for it to pay off on a cycling card, because we need land real soon with the amount of non-lands we have in our hand. So we'll just spend the mana while we have it to dig for those lands. Another Fire Prophecy it is. The Snare Tactician. Get this Drannith Healer on the board. We're playing against red and green here. Could be one of those big beefy monster decks. Could have a lot of Mutate, could have a lot of just really big creatures like Yadaro Wandering Monster there. I think this is like an 8/8 haste trample or something. If they cycle it enough times. We did hit that third mana to dump out the Snare Tactician thanks to cycling starting development earlier. If we hadn't done that, we'd still be on 2 mana right now. So I'll send in the Drannith Healer, drop down a Snare Tactician. Looks like they're green, red, black. That can be like a rampy sort of Reanimator sort of deck. Have cards to pull lands out of the deck, have cards to bring creatures back from the grave, and a lot of big creatures with cycling potentially. So we'll dump down a Snare Tactician. How many lands are you running in your deck? I'm running 14 because we've got like 14 cyclers in the deck. So we would much rather be stuck on mana than mana flooded. Got Momentum Rumbler. Do we just kill that or do we cycle Moloch to tap it down? I think we just kill that. And I can get rid of a card off of Fire Prophecy here, so I can cycle Raking Claws for free if I want to, basically. But then I don't get to use it later to tap something down. I think that's fine with Blitz of the Thunder Raptor and Fire Prophecy here. And Mythos, so we have other ways to get things out of the way. Drawn to another Raking Claws anyway, so we still have it if we need it. Five mana, Proud Wildbonder. Well, we'll Fire Prophecy that too, or we can just Memory Leak it down. Fire Prophecy later. I like holding on to the Fire Prophecy here in case we need to kill something else. We probably don't need to. But we can. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see an attack here, because they know if I have another cycling card, that I can just tap down their only creature there. So they're casting a Chittering Harvester. Proud Wildbonder is a human, so they can't mutate onto it, so that's why they're doing that. I think that we just kill the Wildbonder right now with Fire Prophecy. Tap down Chittering Harvester to get in for 4 more damage. That also gets us closer to Blitz being enough damage to kill Chittering Harvester. It's going to be at 4 now. And I think we're going to get rid of another Raking Claws here. See if we get any closer to that 4th mana for Mythos. Because Raking Claws, while it does give Double Strike till end turn, that's only going to add 2 damage once. We do hit the 4th and 5th mana, so we can Mythos now, but that does 5 damage, not enough to kill the Chittering Harvester either. Although Shredded Sails is enough to tap it down. Keep things aggressive here. Drannith Healer is the draw. We put them to 6 life, so if I cast a Drannith Healer... If I cast a Drannith Healer and they don't mutate onto Chittering Harvester, we can pretty much guaranteed kill them next turn, because we can kill or tap all of their blockers. I think that's the play we have to make. If Blitz of the Thunder Raptor did 6 damage instead of 5, we just kill Chittering Harvester right now, because the biggest way our opponent could come back here is by mutating onto this thing and making us start sacrificing creatures. We just don't have a way to stop that. So I think we just put as much pressure as we can on the board, because we don't need to tap things down during their turn, because we're not worried about our life total, or we're at 22. We can wait till our turn to do so. Extinction Event to kill the Snare Tactician makes sure that I'm not tapping their stuff down anymore. But now I get to Mythos of Vadrok to kill Frillscale Mentor. Blitz is enough to kill Harvester if I kill Mentor with Fire Prophecy first. So I'm going to kill Mentor. I'm not going to get rid of anything here, because I want that land so I can cast Rooting Moloch next turn. So that's why I played the land there. Now I've got 6 engraved for Blitz, so we clear the board, deal 2. Alright, and there's a concession. Took the 0-2 cycling deck all the way to 7-2. Kind of the cookie cutter, just abusive plays the cycling decks are able to do with cards like Snare Tactician, Prickly Marmoset, Dranith Healer, and Stinger in the early game. Just get those cheap cycling payoffs like that with a ton of the generic mana cycling cards, and yeah, you can really just curve out and then start cycling all over the place. Thank you, Xyload. Yeah, let's check out our prizes here for the 7-2. Just some random stuff. I don't play much Constructed, so it doesn't matter too much, but I do open the packs to see what we get at the end for those on YouTube. Some of those like the pack openings. Wild cards are always nice, though. And the final pack here. So Frondland Felidar, the green-white Vigilance deck. I actually like the two-color like keyword-based decks in this format. They're really fun to draft. Black-red Menace, red-green Trample, green-white Vigilance. Of course, feels like we've been seeing a million of the green-red Trample decks with all those Quartzwood Crashers and stuff, though. But anyways, that is going to end the Ikoria quick draft video. For those watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those good things to let the YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying the content and want to see more. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again very soon for more Magic Arena.